crazies, Bobby Kennedy out here in Los Angeles. It was, Martin Luther King. I mean, you can just go right down the line. There were an awful lot. I think in Malcolm X's case, though, were probably more internal contribution than a lot of those others, put it that way. I mean, they had a lot of people that they could, if there was a conspiracy, they had a lot of people that they could conspire with. And so again, I don't think that should be the prime. I mean, I do think in some of these other cases, John Lennon. You see, to think that there were people like John Lennon being killed, or look at Sirhan, for instance. I mean, to think that most people don't think Sirhan killed Bobby Kennedy. I mean, honestly, I don't think he did. He said, well, what do you mean? It was there. Oh, yeah, he was a diversion. That little pea shooter that he had couldn't kill anybody, and his bullets were all found in the walls, and the walls disappeared from the hotel. There was someone who was behind Kennedy who gave him a coup de grace. That was a mafia killing for sure, or a mafia government. Who knows who was with who, you know, in that time. It was a very ugly time. But as I said to my kids, if you notice, when J. Edgar Hoover left the FBI, things stopped. That was a very bad period of time for everybody concerned, blacks, whites, everybody, Afro-Americans and music people, anyone who was in the way. But to think that some of these people were part of a conspiracy, then you'd have to think of a Manchurian Candidate situation. I mean, because, I mean, there's people still in jail for different kinds of things who's supposed to have done something, and therefore they were involved in some way. Take the Lee Harvey Oswald thing. Certainly he was involved in some things, but was he the only one involved? I doubt it. And so, I mean, he himself said he was a patsy before he was taken away. And but to think that these people could be involved in these things, you understand what a Manchurian Candidate is? I mean, they had programs, and I don't know if they were successful or not, where they could implant. How many have seen the Bourne Conspiracy, or what were those movies called? The Bourne Identity. I mean, those series of movies, and I think they're pretty good movies actually, hinge on that he's got something planted in him that makes him do things that he might not otherwise do. I don't know if they succeeded in doing that or they didn't. But let me tell you, it was an ugly, 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 horrible, tragic, really sad time. Let's go back to Malcolm X here. On the Malcolm X thing, I had some students once who were in my classes, and they left and they weren't doing so well, and they went down to San Diego and they started a business down there. And it was a kind of an express mail business, and apparently they had worked for one of the other ones like FedEx, or I forget what different names of things. And they had all the names of lists of the clients of the previous company. So with the lists of the clients of the previous company they worked with, they started their own company and went to all these people and undercut their parent company. And then they were surprised. They came to me, we were driven out of business. Some people in the parent company really got ugly and hit us with lawsuits and threats, and finally we lost all of our business. What's the point? Malcolm X, with all due respect, he was in Elijah Muhammad's movement. He was really cutting into the turf of his parent founder. He would, it's very difficult to, particularly a movement like the Black Muslims, to go in there and then try to sort of siphon off a whole group of the supporters from the previous leader. People don't take that very kindly. And, it's competition for turf in a certain way, and I think there was a lot of ill feeling. That's what I'm trying to say to you. That they had a lot of cooperation, whoever was involved. And I don't doubt that the government of the United States at that time, maybe not the big government, although we know people like Johnson, Nixon, there's a lot of questions about, recently there was a television program where Johnson was accused of being involved in the Kennedy assassination. How many saw that, the men who killed Kennedy? I saw that program. It was on the History Channel. It actually was a very convincing presentation, and they pulled it. they pulled it because the Johnson family protested and all these other people jumped on them and so on. But they had stuff on that program, eyewitness accounts, mistresses of Johnson, things like that, that were so like mind-boggling that it made you really think. So again, whether it's official or unofficial, or whether it's a rump CIA group or whatever, whether the Kennedy people were involved in a blowback or something, it was a really nasty time. And Malcolm X, I think, I knew he was in the sights of somebody, and you know, but I think it was as much internal and as external. And the tragedy of his family there.